But nevertheless, Jack and Kenny are arguing and shoving at each other, and then Jungle Jack just runs past Kenny and dives out of the ring, again on the Buckaroos who were just standing on the floor. And then all four of them suddenly and with little effort just kind of play fight to the back and leave Kenny still standing in the ring. And this is where he has the heartfelt message. And he gave the wishy-washy, douchey, rah-rah speech in his milk-soppish delivery. He would have been perfect in the days of the ruffled shirt and the powdered wig with a little snuff box. He would have been perfect. And then the lights go out. And when the lights come back on, Brian, wouldn't you know who won the pony? It's our old friend Andrade. He's back. He's gone. He's back. He's gone. He's back. And he leveled Kenny and beat him up. And I guess sent him to the hospital. Everybody else does. Why should he be left out? And then shook hands with Don Fallis and has become a member of the Don Fallis family, which now numbers more than the goddamn Gosselin kids.
It's the most inclusive heel group of all time.
And so that was, we were 30 minutes into the show by the time that, and some of these people weren't even out until the third wave. They'd had whole interruptions and brawls and people fought off and everything by the time that the last part of it was over. I would have had to have wrote down. I'd have had to wrote it. Who was in the thing at the beginning? Because half an hour later, I can't remember.
Well, the big story here was the return of Andrade, being the latest person to beat up Kenny Omega. Had his hair out, had a hair color that we have not seen before.
His hair out.
Well, he didn't look the way we've typically seen Andrade look, I guess is the point. And
well, he had his hair long. He didn't have his hair out.
Well, it wasn't in a ponytail.
Bald-headed.
It was out.
If it was out, it'd be bald.
Well, Kenny,
a lot of my hair's out.
Well, again, Andrade joins a heel stable. You always said he needs someone to talk for him. Promos are the single weakest thing about him. But now he's with a stable with a joke heel manager with 20 other people in the fuck. Rocky Romero was in that stable. I mean, come on. What is this?
And that's why I was laughing. He needs a manager. He needs a manager to speak for him and get him over. And again, I think we said earlier in this marathon broadcast that we're doing here, Don, whether he knows better or not, I'm surprised that the guy that I knew 25 years ago is just assing off on national television as hungry as he was to be a star in 1997 or whatever in the WWF. He's just taking this and just wiping his ass with it. He's overacting or comedy acting. He, for whatever reason, has now 10 people in his stable that he does almost nothing with. He sits at commentary instead of at ringside as a manager. He's ineffective when he interferes, and at the same time, he's obviously faking being a pussy rather than showing that he's actually a pussy. It's not worked in any phase of being a manager or a top heel main event stable group. And they just keep sticking people in it.
It almost would have been better to give Andrade Stokely because he doesn't have too many people. And maybe that's another way to try to use him in a single thing. I would almost rather have given him Sammy Guevara as a shit-talking heel manager / wrestler.
Boy, there you go.
Because at least there's something there that people will buzz about. Oh my God, he's with Sammy. But they bring out Andrade, who had an unremarkable run in AEW previously. Again, the highlight of that run was beating up Sammy Guevara in the back after being told, you better not do this. And then
I forgot. Boy, I guess maybe that's why they don't give him Sammy Guevara.
But that's what he was most famous for in AEW, that and seemingly time off. Whether it was something he requested or something that is part of the Tony Khan plan of just pay him and send him home. But apparently he left under good terms, went to the WWE, got a big buzz, I guess you could say, when he first debuted, because he was like one of the first AEW guys, if not the first. Oh no, Cody was first. But he was one of the AEW guys to return, and that quickly went away. And he faded into the background on a show like SmackDown, which over the last couple of years has had more Latinos featured on it than ever before. He didn't stand out.
Well, he didn't stand out, but also apparently it's done him no favors that the story is that he is, and if he wants to sue them for putting this out there, then fine. But they said he's failed multiple wellness, well, not wellness check, wellness policy violations is what I'm trying to say.
Right, but I think wasn't one of those from his first run, and then one of them was from this most recent run?
Well, they don't announce them anymore, so we don't know what the fuck. But what I'm saying is, in a company that does tend to tolerate things more than what one would expect in some cases, they just don't give a shit about him. Not only did they say, you know what, whatever he did or whatever they think about him, not only did they say, you know what, fuck it, just not let him go. Don't even give him a 90-day, just be free. They didn't care whether he went back or not. That speaks something right there. If they're doing all these other things to try to hamstring AEW, but here's this guy, good luck. So he's been in AEW and it didn't make any difference. He was in WWE, it didn't make any difference. He had come from WWE originally where it made a little bit of difference, but now he's back where he didn't make any difference. And Tony has basically rewarded a guy that left on him before and then went and was unremarkable and was a somewhat of a disciplinary issue. Oh, but come back here. I'm sure everything will be fine. I don't, what the fuck?
This has divided AEW fans. There are AEW fans that were genuinely excited. I guess maybe because it's a fresh matchup for Kenny. I really don't know. I can't imagine how anyone could be excited about another heel being thrown in that fucking Callis stable. But there were fans that were generally, whether it was a surprise or not, excited for this. And then there were fans, and Dave Meltzer specifically, who were very upset about this, or at least didn't think this was a good move. Dave did a whole thing that we heard from a bunch of listeners about. Some of them sent over a clip where he went on his show.
He was very vehement from what I understand, that all the various reasons.
And he had said beforehand, before this happened, that he wouldn't have brought Andrade back. You have to say there were two Dave Meltzers with AEW. There's the Dave that texts with Tony when Tony's on his plane and he wants to know what Dave thinks. And then there's the Dave who doesn't like that Tony's not doing what he wants him to do.
Well, I was about to say they've entered that phase of the relationship. They've been married long enough now where, Dave is just resenting that his advice is not being adhered to like it once was.
Well, Jim, if you don't mind, I have a little bit of audio. It's only a minute and a half, but we'll break it up and discuss this. Tell me if you think it's fair or not. Here are Dave Meltzer's concerns or issues with Tony Khan bringing Andrade back on the 6th anniversary of Dynamite.
Andrade made his return.
AEW has enough talent. They don't need... I see everyone celebrating. Oh my God, this is so great when all this. Andrade is a very good wrestler. He's coming off of a run that wasn't good in WWE. Then he was fired, over disciplinary reasons. He had lots of problems in AEW over disciplinary reasons. I always think, burn me once, learn a lesson. This was not a lesson learned, and I know that my view is very unpopular in this.
Let me stop it for a second, because that's speaking of Tony.
Well, besides that, the way he cut Cousin Brian right off there, that is a mistake, but then he made up his own down-home homily. Burn me once, fucking whatever the fuck he said.
We won't get fooled again.
We won't get fooled again, ladies and gentlemen. These oft repeated phrases, but he's not leaving any wiggle room here.
Because all I've seen is, oh, it's so great, Andrade's back and blah, 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 and who cares about his problems? And it's like, one of the biggest problems with this company has been the usage of WWE guys, but the guys who were fired, get William Regal, not a success, went back as soon as he could.
Well, let's stop it there. That's a difference. It wasn't William Regal came and he wasn't a success, so he went back. William Regal came, was used poorly, immediately slotted with an awful John Moxley idea, and then quickly realizing what a shit show it was in the back.
And get me out of here.
I just want to go home. I just want to be close to my son. I can't be close to my son while I'm working in the same country one day a week for your company. I need to be closer. So yeah, that's the William Regal example.
Malachi Black didn't do jobs, left. Rusev. It's like
last night on SmackDown, Malachi Black did a job for Sami Zayn, middle of the ring, clean job, just laid down, didn't move.
This guy wouldn't do anything in AEW, and then he goes to WWE and he's putting over Dominic. He wouldn't put over guys twice as good as Dominic in AEW.
Actually,
let me stop it there for a second.
Hold on. Who's twice as good as Dominic these days in AEW as far as being over with the people where you would expect him to go over instead of doing a job for the other fucking guy?
Yeah, what does that mean? Better than Dominic? You just mean in terms of the moves they do in the ring without selling anything? Because if Dominic Mysterio arrived in AEW today, he'd be the biggest star in AEW by far.
Oh my God.
He'd be isn't that crazy? I mean, where we started. Hey, Jim, who do you think has a brighter future, Dominic Mysterio or Hook?
Hook.
And here we are. He'd be the biggest star in AEW if he arrived tomorrow. Dominic Mysterio.
Swerve was released and became a big star, huge star.
Swerve is the exception. That's right. That is the one exception. He's not super charismatic. And one of the things that's different is before, one of the advantages that Andrade had is that, I think that AEW really wanted good Hispanic wrestlers, and he's very good. They have access to much better guys now than Andrade.
And that's where the clip ends right there. This is from Wrestling Observer Radio, posted on Twitter. Again, Dave's qualifiers for what's good and who's good, and the advice he gives Tony on that may not be the right advice to take.
Well, my advice would have been, no, what the fuck? He didn't work there, didn't work out there before. There's not really anything special about him. The other guys didn't want him. You just look like a putz for taking in a former, an ex-boyfriend after they broke up with the fucking girl they left you for, whatever. Adds nothing to the show. He can't book new, fresh people over, much less stale blah people. I don't see this as making any difference. He's just paying more money out in fucking talent.
And even if he got a sweetheart deal and Andrade agreed to come back for pennies on the dollar, I think about Eric Bischoff always said that when Luger wanted to come back in 95, he didn't want him because he didn't like him. And all of his friends wanted him back. And he agreed to take Luger back for a cheaper deal than Luger ever signed his entire wrestling career. And Luger agreed to it, and it worked out. And eventually when he got a renewal, he got a ton of money.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's this. And Andrade is not Lex Luger. Andrade is not a guy who has ever shown that he increases the bottom line. He doesn't sell any extra tickets. He doesn't move ratings. You could argue that a lot of that's about the way he's been used, but a lot of that may just be he doesn't connect with an American audience. I don't know if he's ever connected with any audience without the mask as well as he did as La Sombra and CMLL with the mask.
I think he may be one of those people. It's better if you cover his face up.
Well, there it is. Andrade versus Omega on the horizon. Something to really look forward to.
Oh, but boy, you ain't going to want to listen to the promos, Brian, because Kenny sounds like a milkshake would if it talked. And Andrade, you can't really figure out what's going on anyway. So while you're watching them fight like a silent movie with the sound down, you know what you could do? You could listen to something else that you'd want to listen to on your Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classics. The classics have been reissued from our friends at Raycon with all the upgrades that you've come to expect. And Brian, now you can stick classic stuff in your ear and just listen to anything you want to, no matter where you are.
Well, Raycon.
You walking down the street, huh?
Raycon classic, not just classic stuff. I don't know what that.
Well, you can listen to all kind of classic stuff. You can listen to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Oh.
But wherever you go, you can be walking down the street. You can be riding down the road in your car. You could be sitting in your own home, ignoring your relatives. You could be in the bathtub. You know, and the thing is, they will not electrocute you as long as you don't stick your head under the water.
Once again,
I found that out on the internet.
I don't know what you're finding at anywhere. Let's not focus on things that are not part of...
Some people had seen that news thing where the one woman in Poughkeepsie who was in the bathtub wearing her earbuds got hit by lightning and fried her like bacon.
Jim,
fried her like bacon.
You heard some pleasant, happy tones there, and what that means is we're not going to focus on electricity or electrocution. We're going to focus on...
We're not going to focus on Mrs. Bacon. Katie was her name, but the new colors they have at
electric
Raycon,
sounds.
Brian.
Electric sounds. Let's focus on that.
Well, see, the electric part was what got her in trouble. The new colors are they're just pleasant, like blush violet and cool mint. As a matter of fact, you get that feeling in your ear as well when you stick the cool mint colored in. Your ear starts burning, and all of a sudden you get shivers.
No, again, none of this happens. Let's not say any of this happens.
Well, it happened.
No, it doesn't. No. My keyboard isn't on. I did this one. That did not happen to you, and it won't happen.
Could have been that tick bite, is what you're saying.
I'm saying
earbuds.
None of this is anything you have to worry about. These are safe earbuds. Put them in your ear. Hear the greatest sounds, music, podcasts, audiobooks, whatever it is that you listen to. Listen to them with comfort. On the go, stylish, a style that you pick, reliable, Raycon.
That's right, reliable, quick charge, 10 minutes gives you 90 minutes of playtime. So you can put them in your ear and suck them with up to 32 hours of battery life. And the awareness mode, where you become instantly more aware of the trials and tribulations that you live in daily life. And then you begin contemplating ways to get even with folks who have wronged you in the past, whether they really did or whether it's only in your mind, because you're aware now with the awareness mode. And then the retribution comes. Plus, they've got a 30-day happiness guarantee. So if you don't love them, then the returns are easy. So you don't have nothing to retribute with the Raycon people about. 3 million customers have gone through this with Raycon, and you should too. And right now, those Everyday Earbuds Classic are waiting for you with 20% off. Normally they charge X dollars, but you're going to get Y dollars because you're getting 1/5 of the normal price off when you go to buyraycon, BUYRAYCON.com/JCE. You get 20% off. They're amazing. They're fabulous. They're phenomenal. And just remember, if you plan to get even with the proper people in the proper ways, you'll be much happier listening to the Raycons while you do it.
Again, I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything or what that exactly means, but you said it best. Raycon. That's it. That's all you said that I agree with so far in this entire show. Raycon, we love him here at Last Manor. I know that Stacy Cornette's a big fan over at Castle Cornette.
Yes.
And we know that you'll love him too in your house. Once again, one final time. Jim, that promo code.
Well, it's JCE like it always is. Buyraycon.com/JCE.